From the Clark Athletic Center in Boston, it's the final game before the win the 4-4 UMass Boston Beacons, and they host the Westfield State Owls, also 4-4 and purveyors of a frenetic style of basketball. Hi everybody, Bill Spalding, glad to be with you. Should be a whole lot of fun today as we see the Beacons play a really unique opponent, Westfield State, a team that averages close to 88 points a game but also gives up almost 90 points a game. So there should be points aplenty, maybe turnovers aplenty, as Westfield State leads the nation in steals per game and is second nationally in turnovers forced per game. We'll break that all down on the pregame show. We'll also preview our player to watch, and we'll look ahead at some individual matchups. That's all coming up on the Beacons Broadcast Network as we get set for UMass Boston and Westfield State live next.
UMass Boston is my first choice because of the incredible theater department.
Because it has an excellent honors college.
Because here I get to interact with professors one-on-one.
Because I'm not going to be crazy in debt when I graduate.
Because at UMass Boston, I've met professors who have changed my life.
My first choice.
My first choice.
My first choice.
My first choice.
Make the University of Massachusetts Boston your first choice. Visit umb.edu/first choice.
At the Clark Athletic Center on the campus of UMass Boston, getting set for the Beacons of UMass Boston and the Westfield State Owls. Bill Spalding with you here on the Beacons Broadcast Network. We're going to take a look at our player to watch, and for UMass Boston, it's a junior who has really developed throughout her career with the Beacons, Raven Kelsey, coming off one of the best games of her career last time out in the Beacons win against Keene State. Kelsey scored 28 points in that game to lead the Beacons to a clutch Little East Conference victory. This season, Raven Kelsey is averaging about 14 points a game. She's shooting better than 40% from three, and she's also picking up close to 10 rebounds a game. So she can do it inside, she can do it outside. She'll be important for the Beacons tonight against a Westfield State team that plays a really interesting, really unique brand of basketball. When you look at the series history between these two teams, it's been mostly Westfield State's advantage. They're 15-4 all time against the Beacons. They've won the last three games. Beacons' last win came in 2013. Last year out in Westfield, it was a 91-79 win for Westfield State as the Beacons got a little bit of a taste of the fast-paced Westfield State wants to play with. A couple years ago, Westfield State played a much more traditional brand of basketball, and it set up a really good, really close matchup between the Beacons and the Owls. Let's take a look at those highlights from the 2014 home matchup between the Beacons and the Owls. From the Clark Athletic Center here on the campus of UMass Boston, it is a UMass Boston Beacon basketball doubleheader. First, the UMass Boston women host Westfield State. Seem to be struggling through warm-ups a bit, so I don't have any definite information, but that could be a big key as Grace Geary drills a three. Game. Valley's jumper off the heel of the rim. Here's the follow, good for Sapuki. Defense from Westfield State. Geary with 6 to shoot. Here's Burston, has to shoot it late and banks it home. Murphy finds Morrison again. She's got it, plus a foul. Take the last shot. They get it ahead to Jordan. 10 seconds left in the first half. Hook shot for Murphy, no. She follows her miss. No, here's a third try. She's got it. 12 for Murphy. And here's the heave-ho at the end of the half. Off the front of the rim. Geary gets it over the timeline and throws it away. 3 turnovers for the Beacons in the first minute and a half. And here's a bucket for Ashton to finish. 4 for Ashton. Timeout Beacons, a full timeout after an 8-0 run. Even though she was 2 for 3 from downtown today, she passed up on that one. Makes a great pass to Jordan, and Chantel Jordan scores for Ashton, and a rebound to Murphy. Ashton still has just 1 field goal in this game. Baloo wants another. She's got it! 6-0 run! Timeout Westfield State! The UMass Boston lead is 3, and Westfield State takes a full timeout. And now they have a chance to reclaim the lead here with 7:45 to go. And they do, and the Kimbo scores again. Shoot. A lot of pressure on Valley with 5 to shoot. Ashton works her way in. Circus shot, and she scores. Turnovers, and Westfield State regains control, and that will do it. Westfield State finishes strong and wins 62-56. Back here at the Clark Athletic Center as we get set for the matchup between the UMass Boston Beacons, 4-4 on the season, and the Westfield State Owls, also 4-4 on the season. Bill Spalding with you, ready for tip-off in about 10 minutes' time here on Wednesday night in Boston. Let's take a look at the head-to-head statistical matchup, and when you look at some of the numbers for Westfield State, you'll see they are eye-popping. That points per game average puts them in the top 10% in the country. Points allowed per game, they are 5th to last, 429th out of 434, but it's all a product of the way they play. They push the pace, they full court pressure, they'll play maybe 17 or 18 different players throughout the game today, and sometimes it'll look like a hockey game. They'll line change, they force upwards of 30 turnovers a game, 34.5, which is good for second nationally, and they lead the nation averaging 21 steals per game. For the Beacons, a much more traditional style of basketball, averaging about 68 points a game. UMass Boston relies on the three ball. They're shooting about 32% this season. That's good for second place in the Little East Conference. Rebounding will be key. Westfield State is very small. They've struggled to rebound the basketball. We'll see if the Beacons can take advantage of that down low. And then that final number for UMass Boston, they average almost 20 turnovers a game. So it'll be very important for the Beacons to avoid turning the basketball over against this high-pressure, high-octane Westfield State defense. Move on to some individual statistics and some of the top leaders for these teams. For UMass Boston, we hit on her already a little bit. Raven Kelsey, our player to watch today, is the team leader, averaging 13.6 points a game. But good news for the Beacons, they have Grace Geary back today. Grace has missed a couple of games, but she was the team leader in scoring last year, 16.2 points a game. The Little East Conference Rookie of the Year 2 seasons ago. Chantel Jordan has been knocking it down from 3, 9 of 19 this season for the senior guard from Brockton. The ball will be in Tajay Burston's hands a lot today. She is the senior point guard for this Beacons squad, and again, the responsibility will be on her to keep possession for UMass Boston in a game that will be frenetic and it will be fast. For Westfield State, Jill Valley is just tremendous. She averages about 24 points a game. She's gone over 1,000 points in her career. Hard to pick out one individual throughout most of this lineup for Westfield State, though, because they play 17 players on average per game. Westfield State is led by Andrea Bertini. She's in her 12th year, and she is the coach who has really instituted this run-and-shoot style of offense. A 3-time MASCAC Coach of the Year. She has led her alma mater at Westfield State to 2 NCAA tournaments. That includes last year when Westfield State went 20-8 and 11-1 in the MASCAC Conference. And again, under her, they have played this unique style of basketball where they will full-court pressure the entire game. They're always looking to run and shoot. Last game, a 111-103 loss for Westfield State. Westfield State shot 42 three-pointers over the course of the game. They took 104 field goal attempts from start to finish. For the Beacons, that coach is Christina Baugh in her second season, previously an assistant at Division I Central Connecticut State University. And for Coach Baugh, it's an important game. The Beacons have 2 weeks off after this for winter break, and they're looking to head into winter break above 500. They're 4-4 right now. They want to go into that break with momentum at 5-4. Take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have starting lineup, keys of the game, and then we'll get going. UMass Boston and Westfield State. It's all coming up here on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris. The subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
Back on the Beacons Broadcast Network, getting set for tip-off between UMass Boston and Westfield State. Here's the starting lineup for Westfield State, and get a look at these 5. You won't see them on the floor together all that often because Westfield State plays 17 different players. They have nobody on the team averaging more than 21 minutes per game, but that player is Jill Valley, who we just talked about, scoring 24 points a game in her 21 minutes of play. Chelsea Musette, the freshman point guard, is an important part of pushing the pace for Westfield State. And down low, Rachel Sapowski, the tallest player on the roster at only 6 feet tall. Westfield State, a small group that really preaches speed and pushing the pace as much as possible. Now the starting lineup for UMass Boston, and there will be pressure on the guards today for the Beacons against this up-tempo Westfield State attack. Tajay Burston, the point guard, will have the ball in her hands a lot today. She's a senior, as is guard Chantel Jordan. So two experienced players handling the ball for the Beacons. Katie Matthew, Raven Kelsey, and Katrina Edwards round out the starting lineup. Raven Kelsey has been spectacular lately. She scored 28 points last week in the Beacons win against Keene State, an 88-78 win in double overtime. Now to the keys to the game, and we've talked about it already, but your number one key for the Beacons is to limit those turnovers. You're going to have some turnovers against a team that forces 34 a game, but if you're able to possess the ball well, you can slow down a Westfield State team that creates really all of its offense off of turnovers. If you break that Westfield State pressure, you look to sometimes take the air out of the ball to dictate the pace and force Westfield State to play in the half court. And then, of course, you want to limit Westfield State's easy looks. Force them to take jump shots. In the loss last time out for Westfield State, they took 42 three-pointers, only made 7. That's a 16% clip from 3, and that's part of the reason the Owls came up short against Smith College last time out. So those are our keys to the game. We'll take a break on the Beacons Broadcast Network, and when we come back, we will have tip-off UMass Boston and Westfield State coming up next.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university with a teaching soul.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny, nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
About ready to rumble between UMass Boston and Westfield State. We'll pause for the national anthem, and then we have tip-off. Set to go at the Clark Athletic Center, UMass Boston and Westfield State in the Beacons' final game before the winter break. And it's a treat today on the Beacons Broadcast Network. We're joined by Beacons men's head basketball coach Jason Harris. Coach, thanks for taking some time and watching some hoops with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
A unique opportunity to watch a team like Westfield State that does something not many teams, especially in this neck of the woods, do, which is run and gun. You think of the 40 minutes of havoc at the Division I level for a school like Virginia Military Institute, at the D3 level, the team that's earned a lot of headlines on the men's side at Grinnell College that pushes the pace game in, game out, and play 15 players, and it presents an interesting challenge for the Beacons today to try and manage the basketball against a team that, you know, they don't see a lot of, and stylistically you might not be used to playing against.
Yeah, they're definitely going to see a pace that they haven't seen all year, and probably a pace that most of them haven't seen ever before.
Announcing the starting lineups for the Beacons now. A lot of pressure will be on the guards today for UMass Boston. The starters, Tajay Burston and Chantel Jordan. If you're coaching against a team that likes to pressure, what's the number one key to tell your ball handlers and your guards in a game that might get a little bit frenetic?
You know, obviously it's taking care of the ball. You know, a team like Westfield, you know, you're going to have pressure coming from the front. You're going to have pressure coming from behind. So you obviously want to stay off the sidelines. You want to stay away from half court, you know, either in front or behind. And you obviously, once you break the pressure, you want to make sure that you're giving the ball to players, you know, in spots that they can do things.
Referees today, Ryan Nunes, John Williams, and Louis Colabello. In a game like this, when you're playing a team that does something so unique, obviously there is the risk that in trying to counter that, you can maybe go away from your identity and go away from the things that you do well. How do you combat the tendency to speed your game up or do some things you don't generally do?
You know, well, that's what Westfield does, you know, so you got to try to not get caught up in that, like you said. You have to continue to talk about shot selections and just valuing possessions. Obviously, they want, you know, 100 shots in a game if they can get it. I think you got to look to run when you can, but not just run for the sake of running.
You got 104 shots in their last game. Westfield State a loss, 111-103 to Smith College. UMass Boston coming in off an 88-78 win against Keene State. Needed 50 minutes for that one, 2 overtimes in a non-conference win for the Beacons. Both these teams 4-4. Westfield State, the MASCAC champions last year. They went to the NCAA tournament. Opening tip-off will be contested between Rebecca Sapowski, the junior center for Westfield State, and Katrina Edwards, the senior forward for UMass Boston. Beacons control early and work it to the front court with Tajay Burston. Burston is senior, the main ball handler, will be under a lot of pressure today. Quickly gets it over for Chantel Jordan. Raven Kelsey, an offensive rebound. Scenario where the Beacons can look to exploit Westfield State, but quickly a turnover. Chelsea moves set all the way to the rim, and that's what Westfield State does. They use their defense to lead the easy offense.
Yep, you had a quick shot there, and you know that's what happens when you get quick shots.
See that full court pressure, and right off the bat, the Beacons struggle with it. It goes out of bounds. 2 turnovers in the opening 31 seconds for a Westfield State team that leads the nation. 21 steals a game. They're second out of the 434 Division III basketball teams forcing turnovers, 34.5 a game. Open look, Lauren Carnevale doesn't go. Raven Kelsey the rebound. Beacons get up ahead with Tajay Burston, and already we see the 5 new players getting ready to go into the game for Westfield State. You might look out and think you're watching a hockey game. All of a sudden you see 5 more players come over the boards here to switch things up already for Westfield State the first 50 seconds of this game.
Yeah, I thought I've subbed fast before, and I mean, that was five girls 50 seconds into the game.
And that's after things went well for Westfield State. A bucket, a couple of turnovers forced. Into the front court, here is Allison Hester possessing the basketball. Kiera McCarthy in deep. Ball batted away, strong defense from Katie Matthew. Well, if you're a coach and you've put a scouting report out on how to stop a team defensively, hard to identify 1 or 2 players when a team's going to play 15 to 17 players in a contest.
Absolutely.
Here's a good drive to the rim. Hester sticks it in. Strong start for Westfield State, coming off 3 consecutive losses, 4-0, and it allows Westfield State to press. They force the turnover. Layup does not fall. In tight, it was a clean look for Lucy Barrett. It just didn't go. See, the Beacons can bounce back off the rough start. 3 turnovers the opening 5 possessions. Get it in tight. Edwards too strong. Follows her miss, and she's fouled. Foul goes on Carrie Payton. Coach Harris, a scenario where maybe the Beacons can look to exploit Westfield State. They have about an even rebounding margin. Westfield State minus 12 of the rebounding margin on the season.
Well, look for the Beacons. I mean, they're going to have to crash the offensive glass. Anytime you're trapping, you got to create extra possessions. You have to make them pay.
Jumper doesn't fall for Jordan, and Westfield State steps on the gas pedal again. Hester in the lane, lays it off. Clean look, Lucy Barrett gets it to go. First two for Lucy Barrett, a sophomore guard who averages about 7 points a game. Yeah, nobody on this Westfield State team plays more than 21 minutes per. Edwards, that's a travel. Fourth turnover already for the Beacons. And hey, here comes another 5 back into the game. A mix between some of the starters, including Jill Valley and Rebecca Sapowski, and some of the other reserves. Already 12 players have played in 1 minute and 54 seconds. This is a game that be considered a broadcaster's nightmare here.
Absolutely, you need some spotters.
Lauren Carnavale with possession, drops it off for Jill Valley. Over 1,000 points in her career. She averages close to 25 a game. Segara down the lane, doesn't get it to go. Beacons rebound well with Chantel Jordan, down 6-0. Even off missed shots, Westfield State looks to pressure, which is unique. Most teams only set off their press off dead balls or made baskets.
Yeah, they're going to have to...
Raven Kelsey gets the Beacons on the board, picking up where she left off last time out.
They're going to have to look up. I mean, after they get the ball in bounds, there's three, sometimes four people pressuring them. Look up.
Valley's three didn't go. The follow draws a foul. Kersey Segara, a senior from Holyoke, Massachusetts, will head to the free throw line. Well, what you see with a defense like this, Coach, it's pretty much feast or famine, right? You either force the turnover and get an easy look at the hoop, or if the pressure's broken, then it's an odd rush going the other way, a fast break.
Yeah, but sometimes that's the goal of the defense. They get you sped up, so what you think is a 3-on-1 and you end up taking a bad three. I mean, that works as a turnover as well if you're Westfield.
3 more substitutions in for Westfield State, so the substituting continuing at every whistle. Neither free throw falls for Kersey Segara. Rebound to the Beacons. This is Burston pushing the pace. Chantel Jordan trapped in the corner.
You got to get the ball reversed and then an extra, and you'll get whatever you want.
Got an open three that time for Katie Matthews. So that's just what you were talking about, reversing the basketball. Beacons have rattled off a couple buckets in a row. Long three doesn't fall for Westfield State's Kiera McCarthy, but the rebound goes out off the Beacons. 7-5 Westfield State. We've played 3 minutes and 4 seconds in a game where even watching, you'll likely need to catch your breath with how quickly they go up and down the floor. Take advantage of those stoppages at the under 5-minute mark of each quarter for the Beacons, who do not play anywhere near the number of players Westfield State does. They expect to play 17 or 18 a game. Touch foul on Tajay Burston is her first. If you're a coach, do you have to manage your minutes a little bit differently going up against a team like this? Because the number of possessions they'll play, it's almost like you're playing an extra quarter or two going back and forth up the floor.
If you plan on running with them, yes, you absolutely have to manage your minutes. If your game plan is to slow it down and kind of grind the game out.
There's a jump of the passing lane. Kiera McCarthy scores, showing that the turnovers don't just come off the pressure. McCarthy jumps the passing lane on her own end.
And that's more of a, just a lack of concentration on our end right there. That's not a pressure turnover.
Now here's a pressure turnover. The takeaway, Lucy Barrett. Layup's good, 11-5. So far, so good for the Westfield State game plan. They forced 7 turnovers over the opening 4 minutes. Raven Kelsey, open look for 3. Got it to go. Becomes so key to hit those open jump shots if you break the pressure.
Yeah, that's one, as a coach you can live with on the defensive end. You're hoping maybe she takes another 5 or 6. You play the percentages on them, but good make there by Raven. Good job by the Beacons getting the ball up the floor.
She's hot right now. Scored 28 last time out, already with 6 points. Kick into the corner. 3 on the way. Too strong for Katie Matthew. And the rebound's closed out on the defensive end by Janaya Sanchez. Quickly push forward. Layup through contact. Well taken by Kiera McCarthy, and it leads to a timeout.
It's a good timeout.
So Christina Ball will talk things over. That timeout turns into a timeout on the floor as well. 13-8 Westfield State. We'll be back on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
Cheer for the stumbles. the he shoulda had that's, and the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
Back at the Clark Athletic Center alongside Beacon's men's basketball coach Jason Harris, Bill Spalding. 5:38 to go first quarter, 13-8 Westfield State. So far the Owls, who are one of the fastest tempoed teams in all the country, have been able to play the game at their pace over the opening 4+ minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Westfield right now, they're winning the tempo game. I'm sure that's what Coach just told them in the timeout. Let's get good shots. Let's not rush. Take care of the ball.
Yeah, it's human nature if you're being pressured and being pushed against a fast-paced team that you might speed up subconsciously. As a guard, how do you slow yourself down? What do you do to make sure that, okay, they're pushing, but we're going to come back and play our game?
I think you got to look and see what's real pressure and what's them trying to speed you up.
Oh, great pass from Raven Kelsey, but the layup doesn't fall for Ariana Rivera. You can get some looks like that at the rim if you break through the pressure. Kayla Durkee, a kick to the top of the key, and a traveling violation on Ashley Kamara. If you're scoring at home, there have been 13 different Westfield State Owls already in the game in the first 4 minutes and 39 seconds. So, yeah, if you're trying to live up to the substitution patterns of Andrea Bertini, you've got some work to do, Coach.
Yes, as a player, I'm not sure I'd like that for my rhythm, but, you know, it works.
Here's another takeaway. 8th Beacon turnover already. Layup no on a quick shot for Alyssa Kamara. Gonna bet Westfield State has not had many shot clock violations this year.
Yeah, I bet they probably had 0.
Valley whirling in, layup, no, but a foul. It's like the Phoenix Suns during the Mike D'Antoni years with Steve Nash and Sean Marion taking a shot every 5-10 seconds on the shot clock here.
Absolutely. See, right there you see, you can't get the rebound. If you're gonna get the rebound, you can't be the breakout guy. There's too much traffic around you. Westfield's too good at the back tap. Got to be strong. You got to let them clear out. You got to look up and run.
Valley's first free throw didn't go, and look at Christina Ball using the first free throw almost as a timeout. She brought her whole team over for that first shot, talking to them and probably giving some of the same advice you've given so far about slowing this game down.
I'm sure she is.
Joe Valley at the line, a bona fide star for this Westfield State team, senior from Orange, Massachusetts. More than 1,000 points in her career. She's averaging more than a point a minute this season. She plays 22 minutes a game. She's averaging 24.5 points a game.
That's impressive. I don't care where you play. That's efficient.
Missed both free throws, though, and nearly a turnover. Ball is kicked. Carrie Payton knocks it out, stays with the Beacons. Now, yeah, you talk about this Westfield State team, and you might not always use the word efficiency. They shoot close to 90 field goals a game to get to their 87 points, but when they're getting clean looks like they have today, anybody can knock a layup down consistently. Ball is set through, almost turned over. Here's Grace Geary. We have a whistle. The clock didn't start. Still sitting at 29 seconds on the shot clock, so they'll have to go talk things over, decide where to move that shot clock, as the Beacons were having an issue getting the ball across half court. Good for UMass Boston to have Grace Geary back. Missed the last couple of games, an all-Little East player and another ball handler. You can never have too many ball handlers in a game like this.
Especially in this game,
yeah.
Absolutely. The impressive thing is they've got 13 points and only 1 foul.
Yep.
For a team that wants to press and run and trap. And
you're right. You'd expect this style would lead to a lot of reach-in fouls and hand-checking fouls and things like that, because it's part of the reason.
If you're strong with the ball.
Yeah.
You know, if you're trying to thread the needle and split traps, and you just, you know, they're not going to call that foul, so you got to be strong with the ball.
So they took 8 more seconds off the shot clock, so now there's only 21 seconds on the shot clock, which means Beacons need a long pass here to get it over the timeline before 10 seconds.
Yeah, I don't think that's right.
And neither does Christina Ball as she's talking to the officials down there, Ryan Nunes, John Williams, and Louis Colabello. And I'll have a timeout from Christina Ball. Has had to use a couple timeouts already, but this one here might be to draw up some kind of inbounding play to avoid another turnover. UMass Boston 4-4 in this season, but getting only their second look in the last 2 years at this Westfield State style. 2 years ago, Westfield State played much more traditional basketball. They had a 6'3 post player, a 6'2 post player. They played more in the half court. When the Beacons played the Owls, it was a 62-56 game. Last year, Westfield State upped the tempo. It was a 91-79 win for Westfield State. And this year, with the graduation of the majority of the post players for Westfield State, I mean, they have forwards listed at 5'6". It's been all run and shoot this year. They've broken records already. Their game last time out against Smith, the most combined points ever in a Westfield State basketball game. 214 combined points in a 40-minute regulation game. Ariana Rivera breaks the pressure. Beacons 4-on-2. Good feed. And the layup falls off the rim. Follow doesn't go as Quinones is blocked. Ball stays with the Beacons.
That's a second or third layup. They've done a good job breaking the pressure. Just can't seem to get the ball to drop.
Is even some of that maybe your brain's going so quickly breaking the pressure that a shot that sometimes seems routine all of a sudden is just slightly rushed and all of a sudden your rhythm's off?
I'm going to say no. I mean, I've seen these girls practice a bunch. I think, that's just 2 missed layups. That's the coach in me, I hope.
Beacons force the turnover, and here they go again. That's a carry on Rivera, sophomore guard from Burlington, Massachusetts.
You can call that 100 times this game.
It's like holding in football.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, call it on every play. 5-point lead for Westfield State. They have forced 10 turnovers already in the opening quarter. Bring it around for Ashley Petruzzi, and the shot falls. Tough look. She was challenged by Katie Matthew. When those types of shots are falling for Westfield State on top of the layups they get off turnovers, could be a long night. Beacons looking to answer. Rivera wants 3. It rattles out. Physical rebound down low for Petruzzi. Getting ready for another Owl line change. 5 lined up at the scorer's table as Rivera takes it away and forces the turnover. Beacons trying to push a reach-in foul on Carrie Payton, who has picked up both Westfield State fouls in the opening 6 minutes and 15 seconds. Her second foul and the second on the Owls.
Tell you what, the Beacons have done a good job turning their defensive, intensity up, and kind of think that's led to a couple stops in a row before the previous jump shot.
Yeah, you don't really, outside of that jump shot, remember many half-court possessions that have ended in a bucket for the Owls. It's been off of turnovers or pushing the pace and getting to the rim ahead of the defense. It's one of our keys to the game. If the Beacons can dictate the pace, force Westfield State to play in the half court, could have some success as Chantel Jordan caps off a half court position with an and one.
Yeah, anytime you're gonna trap and run two players at the defender or at the ball handler, if you cut to the basket, you flash, you're gonna have things just like that. Good cut.
Assist from Ariana Rivera, who found Jordan cutting, and now a free throw for the Beacons senior from Brockton, who has more than doubled her season average in her final season, averaged 5 points a game last year. She's averaging 12 a game this season, good for second on the Beacons. 15-11, UMass Boston within 4. Trying to get it down low. Strong defense from Katrina Edwards to tip it away. Now Grace Geary runs into the offensive end. Get it in for Rivera. Open look. Confidently knocks it down. Did not hesitate inside the lane. One of those where sometimes you're so surprised you're that open there. Beacons within 2. Valley's take. No. Rebound Rivera, who's been active for the Beacons the past few minutes. And she's fouled. A reach in goes on Jill Valley. Her first, third. Make it the 4th on Westfield State. So the next foul in this quarter will send the Beacons to the free throw line for 2. Still 3:04 to go in quarter 1. You play Westfield State, you have to put those dinner reservations another half hour or so later than you'd expect because their style of offense and their pushing the pace and all the extra possessions leads to a longer game.
Just the subbing alone.
Yeah. It's intercepted. Good read from Kersey Segara. She pushes 3-on-2. Pull up 3, way short.
This is a game you can take that one-handed pass and eliminate it from your repertoire.
Rebound for Edwards. Yeah, anything that could be considered risky. This is a team that's going to take advantage of it on the Westfield State side. Rivera turns it over. Good pick from behind for Chelsea Musette to 2-on-1. Jill Valley scores off the window. First two today for Westfield State's leading scorer and one of the top scorers in Owl program history. It's 17-13 Westfield State.
Again, you got to stay out of that corner. You got to watch for traps coming from behind.
Edwards a kick out. Here's Geary to the rim, lays it off. Edwards couldn't get it to go. Jill Valley with great defense on the interior from the undersized 5'4" guard. And a kicked ball against the Beacons leads to another wholesale change. 5 in, 5 out for Westfield State. Can only think of one of the maybe 6 or 7 substitutions that hasn't brought all 5 players out of the game yet.
Yeah, you're better than me because I thought they'd all been 5 for 5.
I think there was one, but I think it was because of a free throw, so the shooter couldn't come out of the game, and she missed the second free throw. So that was intended to be a 5-on-5 as well. Here's a good slash to the rim. Good block. Edwards got up with the left hand and takes it away, but loses it out of bounds. So even off a missed shot, you see Westfield State throw the pressure on, and that's something that's really unique.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you rebound, you can look to break the press. You can go over the top. You can run on them. But you got to decide who's got the ball. You can't have your forwards trying to do it from 90 feet away. That's when you get in some trouble. Beacon's playing some good defense right now, though.
Especially in the half court. That didn't fall for Ashley Hester. Beacon rebound to Chantel Jordan. Fires it forward. And the Beacons capitalize off one of those rebounds like you were talking about.
A vicious back screen set there. I'm not sure if you saw it.
Missed that out of the corner of the eye, but it led to the rebound for Matthew, and now the Beacon defense forces a turnover. So UMass Boston's worked its way back into this after a slow start, 17-15, a minute 28 to go in the first quarter.
If they can just take care of the basketball, they're going to be fine. They're getting the stops they need. The turnovers are the only thing that's leading to Westfield's points.
Nearly another one. That would have been the 12th turnover of the opening quarter, which again, sounds ridiculous, but when you think about it, Westfield State's coming off a game where they forced 44 turnovers in a 40-minute.
They're on pace to beat that.
Chantel Jordan accelerates forward. Geary wide open, wants 3. Give her 3, and give the Beacons the lead. First bucket for Grace Geary, has missed 4 of UMass Boston's 8 games this season, but is back and ready to go heading into the winter break. Touch foul goes on UMass Boston's Ariana Rivera, her first. It is the 5th on UMass Boston, which means double bonus free throws to end this first quarter for Westfield State.
It's a big minute right here for the Beacons.
Free throw pops out. Got to ask you, Coach, with the changes in women's basketball the last couple of years to quarters, do you think that's something that's coming down the road for men's basketball as well?
We talk about it every year at the conventions. Every other FIBA, the NBA, high schools, almost every other men's basketball plays 4 quarters. I like the 2 halves, but I'd be willing to give it a try.
1 of 2 for Hester. Yeah, you're right. At this point, men's college basketball is one of the only basketballs you can think of that plays it 2 halves. Pressure, as always, from Westfield State. Beacons doing a better job breaking it over the last few minutes. Matthew into the front court for UMass Boston. Comes around the horn. Rivera open for 3. Left it short. Kelsey the offensive rebound.
Big rebound, Raven.
Here's a 3 for Geary. Good.
Got to make them pay.
UMass Boston up 3. Westfield State is 5th to last in terms of opponent's field goal percentage. So if you break the pressure, there are opportunities to score and get good looks. On the other end, the follow falls off the rim for Jill Valley. Out to Westfield State with 31 seconds to go. Of course, they score 87 points a game, but they also give up about 83 points a game. So the chances are there on the other end for UMass Boston.
Yeah, if you're trapping, you got 2 or 3 girls at half court. You got 2 or 3 less in the paint to rebound.
Sapowski rebounds her own miss, sets up Valley, jumper no. Shot clock is off for UMass Boston, a chance to hold for 1. Beacons push it with Matthew, and she's fouled. 5th foul this quarter on Westfield State. So free throws coming for Katie Matthew, junior from Coventry, Connecticut.
Beacons have done a good job settling down after that first 2 minutes. Look a lot more comfortable now. Some of that might be because of Grace. Grace came in and did a good job handling the pressure, looking over the top.
Free throw goes down for Matthew. It's now a 14-5 run for the Beacons over the last 5 minutes.
Doing it with defense.
Yep. because even though Westfield State does pressure off misses, it's a lot harder to have a well-designed set-up press coming off a live ball compared to the dead ball.
Absolutely. You got people in different spots. Got guys leaking out.
Here's the push forward. Let's see if the Owls hold for a last shot. They don't often hold for more than 10 seconds on a possession, but looks like Valley's watching the clock now. She attacks with 5. Floater well short. Kelsey the rebound. Trying to outlet with 1. And the Beacons won't get a shot off. But UMass Boston closes the quarter well. 14 of the last 19 points belong to the Beacons, and they lead 22-18 after the first quarter. We'll be back with quarter number 2 after this on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
Back at the Clark Athletic Center, getting set for quarter 2 between UMass Boston and Westfield State with Beacons men's basketball coach Jason Harris. I'm Bill Spalding. Going to take a look, Coach, at the last few possessions for UMass Boston. After breaking the pressure, able to get some clean looks.
Yep, they're doing a good job. Again, like we talked about, they broke the pressure. Their eyes are up. They're not necessarily settling for threes, as you can see on the highlight there. That's a wide open one. With one of your better shooters, that's one you want to take. But other than that, you want to get to the paint, you want to take high percentage shots, and you want to rebound.
You see the 2 threes from Grace Geary near the end of the half. Beacons enter the second quarter on a 14-5 run to 4-4 teams. Looking to get above 500. Beacons have about a 2-week break after this one, so they want to head into it with momentum. Ball is out of bounds off of Westfield State. So the Owls will throw the pressure on again. They press for the full 40 minutes. Doesn't really matter the score. And again, they'll play up to 18 players, though today only 17 dressing, so that's probably what we'll see.
Advantage Beacons.
Here's Kelsey to the front court. Geary, nice pump fake. Jumper, short. Follows her miss. Geary, too strong. And Jill Valley able to run down a rebound for Westfield State. Allison Hester has scored 3 points. She's down the lane, draws a foul. Free throws coming after Katrina Edwards picks up her first foul.
In a game like this, you really need Grace Geary to get back after not getting that rebound. That leads to them running, and that's how they want to play. You don't have the depth that they have, so you can't get fouls. You need to contain the ball. You got to get back.
When you play a style like Westfield State, where on offense you're just looking to get the ball to the rim as quickly as possible, that means put me in a practice setting. They're probably not spending all that much time on the offensive end, right? You'd guess it's mostly focused on this defense.
Yeah, most of their offense probably is predicated from their defense.
Push it to the offensive end for the Beacons. Geary draws a touch foul. Early on, there were not many fouls between these two teams. Fouls have piled up over the last few minutes. It's the first on Kiara McCarthy, already the 7th this half, though the first of the quarter on the Owls of Westfield State. Beacons get it in for Geary. She's already hit 2 threes, leaves this one short. Geary attacks a seam of the defense and gets the underhanded finger roll to go. Identified that seam so quickly.
Yeah, she's doing a good job of reading it, getting into the gaps, and attacking the rim.
Largest lead today for UMass Boston. Here's a deep 3, doesn't fall. Westfield State's yet to make a 3 today, and there's that pass from Keene ahead to Chantel Jordan. She's fouled. Well, that's what you talked about. If you can get your head up after a defensive rebound with the pressure, there could be some of those home run balls over the top of the defense.
Yeah, before the game, I saw Grace and Katie both working on that football pass and kind of made a joke. Not sure what you guys are practicing for, but obviously they knew something that we didn't know as Grace showed off her arm there.
Chantel Jordan at the stripe. First one rattles out. Westfield State has struggled from the outside again today. They only shot 7 of 42 in their last game from 3. That's 16%. And today, 0 for their first 7 from 3.
Keep packing it in.
Here's Jordan again, about a 70% free throw shooter, and she gets the friendly roll there. UMass Boston is up by 6. Beacons have scored 17 of the last 23 points. Into the lane, it's poked away. Grace Geary's been everywhere. She got her hand on that one. Accelerates into the front court. Double team comes. Raven Kelsey driving dish. 3 on the way. No good. A little bit short for Katie Matthew.
They're getting good looks, though. They're being unselfish. They're attacking the paint. They're seeing out. That's all you can ask for as a coach.
Valley goes behind the back the other way. Slings it in for Sapowski, and her shot falls in. First 2 for junior Rebecca Sapowski, who averages about 6.5 points a game. Now, probably not surprising when you play 17 players, but outside of Jill Valley, nobody else in double figures for Westfield State. Sapowski is the second leading scorer on the team at 6.8 points a game. Home run pass for Geary again, over the top of the press. Ball is saved on the defensive end, and Westfield State takes it away. Throw a foul on Katrina Edwards, her second.
You know, that's the only problem. That ball's in the air for so long. Just gives everybody so much time to react to it. You'll get it every once in a while, but that's not a solution every play.
Here's a line change again, 5 in, 5 out for Westfield State. Beacons will make a more traditional substitution. Alicia Quinones enters the game and takes Katrina Edwards' spot. 25-21, UMass Boston. Definitely be one of those unique games for the Beacons this season. Won't have to prepare for a team like this most likely the rest of the year. 3 does not go. It's a good look for Lucy Barrett. Westfield State still 0 from downtown. Beneath the rim, Matthew, tough catch. Finish no for Jordan. Her follow draws a foul.
Yeah, if you can get by that first trap. I mean, they had a 4-on-2 again. Got an extra possession. Just keep looking up.
And you're starting to see why Westfield State has struggled to rebound this year. A -11 differential. Oftentimes they're outnumbered on the glass, even on the defensive end.
Yeah, I think sometimes they're trapping too early, which is leading to the break for the Beacons. But, you know, the coach has got them scoring 90-something points a game.
You're willing to give a little bit of that to have the turnovers and some of the easy layups going the other way. Chantel Jordan with 6 points. You mentioned Coach Bertini, long tenured coach at her alma mater, and she has led Westfield State to a couple NCAA tournaments, including last year. Another 3 ball, and finally one goes down. Kiara McCarthy has the first 3 today for Westfield State. Owls back within 3. Quinones all the way to the rim, didn't go. Good challenge at the end from Ashley Giampetruzzi.
And that's the one that'll get you sped up. You know, You think you have something there, it's not quite there, and when you realize it, it's usually in the air.
So that last line played about 37 seconds of game action, and here's the scoring line, including some of the starters, Jill Valley and Chelsea Musette, back into the ball game for Westfield State.
I wonder how many players for Westfield played since Grace checked out.
I think you can wager at least 12. 3 in the air, and all of a sudden, Westfield State's heating up. Jill Valley knocks down the second straight. Owls tied at 27. Well, it's the danger zone. When they start knocking down the outside shots to complement everything else they do, become a scary team to match up against.
Well, you see they went 0 for their first 7, so, you know, they're not going to miss them all.
Nope.
When they hit 2, you can't freak out. You got to just keep playing your game, but you got to take care of the ball. Like you said, you can't give them turnovers and threes.
27 all, Beacons and Westfield State, 2 teams 4-4 on the year. Double team up top. Quinones keeps it alive. Good hustle. Beacons have a 3-on-2. Tajay Burston sets up Raven Kelsey. Back for Burston. Reverse it to Matthew. Quinones gets it to go. Patient possession from the Beacons ends with a clean look.
They did a nice job being unselfish.
So a 2-point lead for UMass Boston. Reach in foul goes on Raven Kelsey, junior from Wrighton here in Boston. Went to O'Brien High School. And she's a player that if you followed the Beacons the last few years, you have seen her really develop. Came in as a primary post player. Now she's up to shooting about 40% from 3 and becoming one of the key players for the Beacons, leading the team in scoring.
She spent the entire summer in the gym. And every day you'd see her in here shooting on the gun, so I'm proud of Raven, happy for her success. She definitely put in the work.
Foul on the rebound goes against Westfield State. Second foul on Kersey Segarra. Possession back to the Beacons. Now, one of the positives about having to prepare for a team like Westfield State is, at least you know during practice leading up to it, your press break is getting some good work in those practices as the ball sails out of bounds and the Beacons turn it over.
It's funny, you can almost see the Beacons running their press break like it's a 5-on-0. They're catching and throwing the spots before the before the player's even there. And, most times it's working out, so it's absolutely a big day of press breaker yesterday, you can tell.
2-point lead for UMass Boston against Westfield State, the defending MASCAC champs, and that pass was too tall, intended down low for Carrie Payton. Turnover off the fingertips of Lauren Carnevale. Does allow Westfield State to set up the pressure off a dead ball. Obviously, as a coach, you never want turnovers, but you can live with a dead ball turnover more than a live ball turnover.
Yep. Sometimes you tell your players we'd rather have you kick the ball out of bounds so we can at least get back and set our defense.
Offensive foul on Ariana Rivera. It's her second, already the 5th this quarter on UMass Boston. So every foul the rest of the way on the defensive end will send Westfield State to the line. And in fact, that was the 3rd foul on Ariana Rivera, who stays in the game here in foul trouble early on first half. And in the second quarter, she'll now head out as Quinones returns to the game. Alicia Quinones, freshman from Stoughton. Did it all. Soccer, basketball, softball. Was the softball and basketball MVP at Stoughton High School. Layup doesn't go down low.
That's a baller right there anytime you're a multi-sport MVP.
Tajay Burston accelerates it the other way. Here's Matthew down the paint. Jontel Jordan. Layup didn't fall. Number of layups have just fallen off the rim for the Beacons, and that is ruled originally off Jordan, but referee John Williams coming over to talk things over, and they'll reverse the call.
That's the right call.
So officials come together there, 29-27. 5:40 to go, second quarter. Beacons soon will get a break at the under 5 timeout. Important to utilize those breaks in a fast-paced game. Quinones, no. Weak side rebound, Edwards, and the follow is good. First 2 today for Katrina Edwards. Beacons really attacking the glass. Oh, a little feed in tight. That's a travel. It was a great pass up top from point guard Allison Hester, but Carrie Payton shuffled the feet. And here comes the starting group of 5 again for Westfield State.
Yeah, I think in pregame you probably don't even talk about matchups. Defensively, I don't think it really matters. They're subbing every 40 seconds.
Jontel Jordan banks in a 3. Now sometimes you need a bounce or two as well. The Beacons go up by 7. Jumper. There's an answer. Clean look on the other end for Ashley Jam Petruzzi.
Tough shot.
It is. And on that note of not even talking about matchups, puts some real pressure on the communication of who's got who with so many substitutions here for a man-to-man defense.
Absolutely.
Burst in, long 3, and she knocks it down. The jump shot's falling on both ends. Senior Tajay Burston knocks it in, and we have a timeout taken.
You had an unforced error right there. Westfield just throws it away.
Yeah, Westfield State throws it out of bounds, brings us to a timeout on the floor. UMass Boston has its largest lead of the game, 37-29. We'll take a break, come back after this on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
(37-29), UMass Boston, Westfield State. Beacons 4-4, Owls 4-4. UMass Boston has done a much better job taking care of the basketball. First 5 minutes or so, Coach Harris, they had 8 turnovers in the opening 4 minutes. Since then, they've limited the turnovers, broken the pressure, and forced Westfield to have to do most of its offense in the half court, which is not what the Owls are looking for.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's good to call that second timeout early, as you saw Coach Ball did, and kind of talked about the press breaker and what you want to do.
Grace Geary's been key on the press break today for UMass Boston as one of the Beacon ball handlers. She's been assisted by Tajay Burston, Jontel Jordan. Jordan has it now. Here's Quinones. Get it around for Geary. Jacks up a three. Offensive rebound. Edwards through contact, no call, and a weak side board into the hands of GM Petruzzi, who's been very active early. Foul on the Beacons. It'll be a free throw opportunity. That's foul number 6 on UMass Boston. So 2 free throws coming for Westfield State. They'll walk GM Petruzzi all the way down the floor. Opportunity for a number of free throws most likely here for the Owls coming up. They have 4:31. At the pace they play, that's maybe 10, 15 more possessions at least, probably more. And every foul from the Beacons will send them to the line.
Oh, they got a chance to get to 50 by halftime still.
GM Petruzzi off on the free throw. Westfield State has missed 7 of its opening 10 free throws, so they are leaving some points at the line. GM Petruzzi goes 1 for 2. She's a strong start, 5 points early for Ashley GM Petruzzi. Jordan trapped. Geary's wide open. Not close. Offensive board. Edwards, who has been attacking the backboard in this second quarter. Edwards got a piece of the ball. It's deflected around and into the hands of freshman Chelsea Musette out of Southampton, Massachusetts. Gets it forward. Edwards got a piece of that jump shot. Rebound goes down. Gian Petruzzi found it. Like, a number of players froze there thinking there might have been a foul, and no whistle came. So Westfield State back within 5. Beacons draw a foul. Geary reached into. The foul goes on Kayla Durkee. It's the 5th on Westfield State, so the Beacons are in the bonus here in this second quarter.
Yeah, I think that's advantage Beacons, both teams being in the bonus, with Westfield being a little bit more aggressive, 94 feet away.
Yep. Beacons shoot about 70% from the free throw line as a team. Opportunity for Grace Geary. This will only be her 5th free throw of the season. She's 3 for 4 from the stripe. Knocks it down. Geary so strong in her career at UMass Boston. All Little East last year, first teamer. Year before, Little East Rookie of the Year. And this season, back in the rotation now, looking to get things going, averaging about 11 points a game over the first 4 she's played in. And she already has 10 today in the first half. 39-32, Beacons by 7. They've led by as much as 8. Might be the first time we've seen Westfield State get to 15 on the shot clock, and they finish with a layup in tight. Kiara McCarthy, an early 9 points to lead the Owls. Again, the Beacons break the pressure here, though. Need to get it over the timeline. Burston just snuck over. Kelsey, baseline drive. Geary's double teamed in front of the bench. Tough thing about this defense, they don't stop pressuring and trapping even in the half court. 7 to shoot. Geary got free, and Jordan found her.
Yeah.
2 more for Grace Geary.
After you skip the ball, you got to give a quick next one because they're already recovering. If you're going to catch the ball and hold it, you're allowing the defense to match back up.
Hester was on the end line. It's a turnover. Substitutions 5 wide for Westfield State again, with the Beacons up 7 and 3 minutes to go in this second quarter. And second half will be a good test of Beacons' conditioning and stamina, because they have played a lot less players. They've played 8 players so far, maybe 9 to Westfield State's 15. So you'll see the legs at the end and see what the Beacons have to offer. Quinones, layup, no, but a foul. Foul on McKenna Dorimas, her first. 2 free throws coming for Quinones, who has scored a couple of points already today. Beacons up 7. Turned around an early 5-point deficit. And I know it's easy to talk offense because that's where you see the points piling up. That's where you see the Beacons trying to break the pressure. But you've said it a number of times today. It has really started with the Beacons' defense, because it takes some of the steam out of Westfield's pressure if Beacons get stops.
Absolutely. The other thing is it's hard to, like we say, Westfield traps even on misses. It's hard to trap on a miss. If you can't set your defense, you need the ball to go through the hoop to set up your press.
Valley drives. Foul on the floor. 2 free throws will come anyway for Jill Valley. Beacons have done an admirable job on her so far. She averages about 25 a game, and approaching halftime, she has scored only 5 points.
Yeah, I got a feeling she's going to get her shots up regardless. The one criticism you might have with the system for Westfield is when you got a player that's averaging 20 in 20 minutes, imagine what they'd be doing if they were playing 30, 35.
Though I guess the counter argument would be in the 20 minutes, she gets as many shots up as a lot of teams would have in 40 minutes.
Also true.
Valley knocks them both down. Now, it's not quite the system that you and I were talking about before the game from Grinnell College on the men's side where they have one designated shooter, but she's about as close as it would be. That's a foul on the three-pointer. Oh, was not a ton of contact there for McKenna Doremus, but the Beacons will take it. 3 free throws coming for Raven Kelsey.
Yeah, I don't think Coach Ball is going to give them back.
That's why you go back and watch the film after most games, and then you realize, okay, I might have been arguing about this call or that call, but got a couple to go my way as well, right?
Yeah, usually you're aware, right away. All right, I might have got that one. That one might have been a gift, but
doesn't stop the politicking,
no,
though.
It doesn't, and it won't change your mind the next possession down if you think you get robbed on one. You'll forget about that one really quick.
Kelsey's 2 for her first 2, 7 points today for Raven Kelsey, who was so big in a really monumental win for the Beacons on Saturday, their first conference win of the year, double overtime against a good Keene State team to build some momentum heading into winter break, trying to keep that momentum going with a win today. Tough shot from Musette, no chance, and an easy rebound for Kelsey, but now she's pressured. Double team came, Beacons looking to break it. It's a 3-on-2. Jordan caught it on the leap, but it's taken away. Challenged by Jill Valley, who pushes the other way. Valley whirling, and she traveled. Beacons got back in transition defense there to make things difficult for Westfield State.
That's a nice job by Chantel to get back after getting a shot blocked.
So has UMass Boston up 8, 2 minutes to go, which again in this game is like an eternity. But if you're starting to think about halftime adjustments, are there many you would make for UMass Boston the way they've played the last quarter?
Oof, yeah, I'd be leery of taking so many threes still. I mean, you're still playing at their pace. You're doing a nice job punishing them on the glass, but like this possession here, you got to be patient.
And it leads to a layup.
Absolutely. Be patient. Don't settle. You're getting to the line. You're getting fouled.
Oh, that's the thing. A patient possession, as here's a 3 ball that doesn't go. Sooner or later you'll have an open look because of that double teaming style from Westfield State.
Yeah.
Geary gets out and runs, and that's a travel.
It's almost, like when you see in football a team that puts up 40, 50 points.
Yep.
When you're running the ball on them and you limit those possessions for Tom Brady, it makes them a little bit more aggravated, and every possession gets a little bit bigger.
And that's maybe the best comparison to this style of play that Westfield State has. They're like a spread offense at the college football level, trying to snap the ball every 10 or 15 seconds.
You got to run.
Yeah.
3 yards in a cloud of dust here for the Beacons.
Geary picks up a foul, her first. It's the 6th on the Beacons this quarter, so free throws coming for Westfield State. Kersey Segarra at the free throw line. She has not scored today. Senior from Holyoke, Massachusetts. Now she's on the board. 8 for 9 from the free throw line this season. Now Beacon's on pace for around 100 points. Have not hit the 100-point mark. They did score 88 last time out.
I guess the thought is for Westfield that eventually their system kind of breaks you.
Yep. Well, they hope that they take the legs out from underneath you as the game goes on. Kelsey spins forward.
Good job not settling.
Kelsey on the drive. Followed her miss, bounced off her hand and out off of Westfield State. So a new possession for the Beacons. And chance to use some clock here on the half court and maybe shorten the end of this second quarter with an 8-point lead.
Big possession here for the Beacons.
Open 3, Matthew. Offensive board burst in. The shortest Beacon gets an offensive rebound and recycles the possession.
Did she ever elbow above the rim on that rebound?
Kelsey for 3. Got it! So it pays off. Burst in the board in amongst the trees, and Raven Kelsey sticks it home to give UMass Boston its largest lead of the game, and that's a travel. Burston stepped in, made life difficult on McCarthy. Possession Beacons up 11 with 42 seconds to go.
She took a shot there, though. She gave her body up for the team.
Picked
Tell you
herself
what,
right back up the floor and set to go.
This Beacons team is a push-off
Yep.
called at WestCon away from being 2-0 in
Yep.
the league, too.
Yep. Lost a lot from last year's team, one of the best players in recent memory, Murphy, but they've come back strong and have a chance to go into their break at 5-4 with the bulk of the conference schedule in front of them. Free throws coming for Burston, who's had a real impact on the last 30 seconds or so of this game. I was going to say this was a 2-for-1 chance for the Beacons, but the way Westfield State plays, maybe it's a 4-for-3 chance for UMass Boston in the final 34 seconds.
Yeah, and you know what? Taj did a good job there, not picking her dribble up. She used her speed to keep trying to turn the corner. She kept the trap active. Eventually they're going to foul you. Too many times you see players pick their dribble up in that dead spot, and bad things happen.
Both free throws go for Burston. Beacons lead by 13. Feels like an eternity ago that they were struggling to get things going those first couple of minutes. 3-second difference between game clock and shot clock. Into the teeth of defense, Segara sticks it in off the window. And now for UMass Boston, if you can break the pressure, a chance to hold for one.
Hey, a shot clock violation's not so bad here.
Get it over the timeline, and it is deflected out by Valley.
You worry about a turnover that leads to a
Yep.
big play to going into halftime.
Yep.
It changes your whole perception on these next 20 minutes.
They don't want to lose that steam. Referees coming together because they were right at the 10-second mark when that ball was deflected, and if it is ruled that it didn't cross the timeline in time, would be a 10-second violation. And that's the call.
Yeah, that's a tough call. You see Coach there looking for an explanation.
Yep. So it's an 11-point game, and Westfield State has a chance to try and finish, to get it in the hands of Jill Valley.
Can't get a hand check here.
Three-pointer Valley, halfway down and out. Kelsey the rebound for the Beacons, and her shot's blocked at the end of the half. But still a strong finish for UMass Boston, once down by 5. They go into halftime up 51-40. Coach, thanks for being with us this first half. Really enjoyed it.
No, I appreciate it. If we don't talk again, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody out there listening. I'm predicting a 15-point Beacon win tonight. You heard it here first.
All right, we'll hold you to that as we head into halftime. 51-40 UMass Boston. Coming up after the break, we'll check in with Coach Ball and get things going on the Beacons halftime show.
UMass Boston was my first choice because when I came to the campus, I saw that there was a lot of diversity. There's a lot of people. Here there is a lot of international students, so it's really cool to meet people from different countries, different parts of the world. I'm Julia Murphy. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
I'm Olivia Murphy. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
We're sisters.
We're sisters.
I play volleyball and she plays basketball. Here they have a freshman success committee. So each major has their own committee that you can join as a freshman. You can do classes with them, you can study groups with them. So it's really helpful getting to know people in your major right away.
So in health exercise sciences, we have an internship at the end, so it's so much better to have like an advisor helping you out, like telling you which classes to choose.
UMass is very public service focused, and it piqued my interest, and I started doing more research on it. I'm very focused on what can I do to make the world around me a better place. My name is Lydia Grasso. I'm a junior at UMass Boston studying sociology and minoring in human rights. Because I won the Chancellor Scholarship at UMass, it allowed me to go to Cambodia. I was working at the Sihanouk Hospital Center of Hope. I was in the place of something horrible that had happened. I could either go home and kind of forget about that experience and kind of block it out, or I could do something so that things like that never happened again. UMass provides me with opportunities that I wouldn't get anywhere else and gives me a global perspective in a public setting. I definitely transformed at UMass.
Beacons up by 9 at halftime. Coach, obviously you're playing a unique opponent with the style that they play.
For sure.
How did you think your team bounced back after a tough first couple minutes?
We turned the ball over way too much, 19 turnovers. That puts us on the pace for 38. That might be too many tonight. We got to clean it up. I thought once we hit a couple shots, we weren't nervous anymore, and that was a big part of the push. We're out rebounding them by 10. We're going to have to do that again in this half, get second opportunities, and make a little bit more of them. Thought we missed a lot of bunnies and not going around, not kicking it out when we don't have a layup.
All right, Coach, thank you. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you so much.
That's Coach Ball, 51-42. By the way, while we were away, 2 technical free throws were issued for Westfield State. Both were made. So instead of 51-40, it's 51-42 here at half. Beacon Halftime Show will continue coming up next on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
What do we mean when we say UMass is here for a reason? We mean that the 5-campus UMass system is the only public research university that the people of Massachusetts established to create better futures for themselves, but also for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts as a whole. It's a university that educates 73,000 students every day and graduates 17,000 graduates every year. We are the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We're one of the state's 3 major academic research engines: research that saves and improves people's lives, and research that drives the innovation economy of Massachusetts. We provide services and economic opportunity to every region of the Commonwealth. The noted historian David McCullough once said that 2 great concepts, university and Massachusetts, come together in only one place, and we are very aware of how fortunate we are to bear the name, the University of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, And that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
Back at the Clark Athletic Center, halftime, UMass Boston 51, Westfield State 42. Take a look at the halftime team stats. Obviously, it's a lopsided scoreline in terms of points scored, 51 for the Beacons, 42 for Westfield State, but that's the way Westfield State plays. They play these up-tempo, full-court press, a lot of turnover type of games. So the Beacons have turned it over 19 times, but that's about on the average teams turn it over against Westfield State, even if Christina Boss said that's something she wants the Beacons to work on. Big advantage rebounding for UMass Boston. Big advantage shooting the long ball, 41% from three, whereas Westfield State is only at about 18% from three. That's why the Beacons lead by 9 at halftime. Take a look at individual leaders for UMass Boston and Westfield State. Raven Kelsey picking up where she left off, 12 points for Kelsey all ready to lead the way. Grace Geary's been big as well. She's also scored 12 points for the Beacons. 9 rebounds for Raven Kelsey. So 12 points, 9 rebounds. Already almost a double-double for our player to watch today. On the Westfield State side, 11 points for Kiera McCarthy. She's the one who shot those 2 free throws after the technical foul right at the end of the half to pull Westfield State to within 9. Also 4 rebounds for Rebecca Sapowski and 3 steals for Kersey Segara, leading the way for Westfield State. Well, back and forth first half, a lot of up-tempo play, and for more on that, let's take a look at the first half highlights. Hester in the lane, lays it off. Clean look, Lucy Barrett gets it to go. Until Jordan trapped in the corner.
You got to get the ball reversed and then an extra, and you'll get whatever you want.
Got an open 3 that time for
down and kind of grind the game out.
There's a jump in the passing lane. Kiera McCarthy scores, showing that the turnovers don't over the opening 4 minutes. Raven Kelsey, open look for 3. Got it to go. The Beacon rebound is Chantel Jordan. Fires it forward. And the Beacons capitalize off one of those rebounds like you were talking about. Chantel Jordan accelerates forward. Geary wide open, wants 3. Give her 3 and give the Beacons the lead. He left it short. Kelsey, the offensive rebound.
Big rebound, Raven.
Here's a 3 for Geary. Good.
Got to make
short. Geary attacks a seam of the defense and gets the underhanded finger roll together. And she has led Westfield State to a couple NCAA tournaments, including last year. Another 3 ball, and finally one goes down.
Seconds.
Chantel Jordan banks in a 3. Gets an offensive rebound and recycles the possession.
Did she ever elbow above the rim on that rebound?
Kelsey for 3. Got it! So it pays off. Burst in the board in amongst the trees. And so that's your highlights from the first half. 51-42, UMass Boston on top. Let's take a look around the Little East Conference. Nothing else in action today. All these games came on Saturday. The Beacons' big conference win at Keene State also saw Western Connecticut State move to 2-0. They are the only undefeated team in the Little East Conference. There are 6 1-1 teams, and then Plymouth State 0-2 after their loss to UMass Dartmouth. Eastern Connecticut State an important win against Rhode Island College. Time to go around Beaconville. Last night, big win for UMass Boston men's basketball as the Beacons took down Suffolk 74-60. Women's hockey on Saturday fell to Connecticut College. Men's hockey on Friday beat Wentworth. All those teams now in their winter break. They are off until at least December 29th when the men's hockey team will be back in action for the Codfish Bowl. Speaking of that women's hockey team, we're going to look back at highlights from their last home game, a win over William Smith 3-2 at overtime.
Time. You can check your iPhone, better say it's our time. I don't even need a watch, I don't even see a clock. Soon as I walk in, it feel like me o'clock. Yeah, me o'clock. Every time my checks, niggas don't measure up and try to blame the Pyrex. I'ma do it hickory, dickory, blowing that sour. The hood call it pickory. Biggie, Puffy, Buster, victory. Call it in the sky time. If you ain't a pilot, you probably couldn't style it. Unless you was a stewardess, you won't know what to do with this. First I took the time out, then I put the time in. Money ain't everything, it's more about the timing. So I got the Audemars, flawless diamonds. In other words, that's called perfect timing. I feel like a favor, I feel like a savior. They clock in my neck, I feel like I'm flavor. I go so hard, low so God. Damn, street, fit it.
Big win for the Beacons on the women's hockey ice, and now the women's basketball team looking ahead into winter break with a 5-4 record. 51-42 Beacons after the first 20 minutes. Second half coming up next here on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
Beacons on the track! Beacons on the track!
My name is Tyler Hart.
Beacons on the track!
Being on the track and field team here is the greatest decisions I've made besides coming to UMass Boston. When you train together in that sort of intensity, you build a sort of a bond with people who are training with you. You know, it's like on a higher level of friendship. It's like teammates, it's just a different level. My freshman year, I got a Rookie Athlete of the Year. Outdoor for my sophomore year, I was the first time I went to nationals. When I jump, it's a little difficult considering I have hereditary disorder known as amblyopia.
There we go.
It's pretty much just a partial blindness in the left eye. The best way to describe it is if you have decent prescriptions for contact lenses, you take one of the lenses out, and then
For the
you
Beacons,
put your
and
hand
her
over the
shot's
eye.
blocked at the end of
with
the
that
half,
lens.
but
That's
still
my
a strong
vision.
finish.
I rely more on my steps as opposed to my visual perception of how far away the bar is. And since I can't see out of my left eye, I have to sit on the far left-hand side of the class. Hopefully coach for a few years, and coach some high school kids, maybe even coach on a college level as like an assistant coach, and go to PA school, then do a 5-year program and try to get my loans paid back, and then go from there.
At the Clark Athletic Center, we're set to go for half number 2 on the Beacons Broadcast Network. 4-4 UMass Boston leads 4-4 Westfield State, 51-42. It was 51-40 when the buzzer sounded at the end of the second quarter, but a dead ball technical foul on Raven Kelsey gave 2 free throws to the Owls. They were knocked down by Kiara McCarthy, and that put Westfield State within 9, 51-42. Westfield State in blue, UMass Boston in white. The Owls open up the second half with possession. Again, they line change almost every minute, but start with their starters, including Jill Valley, who knocks down a 3. Jill Valley out there with Lauren Carnavale, Chelsea Musette, Rachel Sapowski, and then rounding out the starting lineup for this group is Kersey Segara. Jumper doesn't go. Beacons get the rebound to Raven Kelsey. 12 points in the first half and a 3-pointer here to start half 2. 55-45 UMass Boston. Beacons good defense from Katrina Edwards, and here they come pushing the pace. 54-45 UMass Boston by 9. Tajay Burston into the corner. Chantel Jordan straight away. Burston, open look, off the heel of the rim. Rebound deflected out off Katie Matthew and back to Westfield State. Minute and 2 seconds into this second half. 5 fresh faces for the Owls, who played 17 players in the first half. Nobody played more than 9 of the 20 minutes. Beacons played 9 players in the first half. So we'll see if UMass Boston has the legs to stick with Westfield State in half 2. Westfield State near the top of the national rankings, first in steals in Division III. second in turnovers forced, but only 429th out of 434 in points allowed, and UMass Boston's on pace for 102 today. Jumper didn't go for Janaya Sanchez, way short, and Beacons get it back. Still try to break the pressure here. Go for the home run pass up top to Tajay Burston. 1v1 against Allison Hester. The point guard Burston will pull things out. And down low for Quinones. Beneath the hoop, she's fouled. Foul goes against Carrie Payton. It's her third. 2 free throws coming for Alicia Quinones, freshman from Stoughton. Another thank you to Beacon men's basketball coach Jason Harris, who joined us for the first half. Dill Spalding with you solo here for half number 2. Quinones misses the first free throw. UMass Boston today is 12 of 17 from the free throw line. Second free throw goes. Beacons back up 10. They've led by as much as 13. Hester, tough jumper. It goes. That was contested, and she still knocked it down. Allison Hester has scored 6 points today for Westfield State. Reach-in foul on the full court pressure goes against Lucy Barrett, her second. Already the second on Westfield State. That is a risk when you pressure as much as the Owls do, which is constantly in danger of picking up some of those fouls a long way away from the hoop. And another touch foul. This one goes against Hester. It's her first. Third on Westfield State, so 1 minute and 45 seconds into this third quarter. The Owls are already in danger of pushing the Beacons into the bonus. Beacons almost throw it away. It squirts through to Quinones. Kelsey in the corner. Attacks baseline, caught in the air, gets it back. Matthews scores 2. Fortuitous bounce for the Beacons, leads to that layup. 8 points for Katie Matthew. UMass Boston back up 10 as a reach-in foul goes against the Beaks. Tajay Burston second. That give her her third foul. First on the Beacons this quarter. Back to a line change for Westfield State. 5 in, including Jill Valley, leading scorer, and Chelsea Mousset. Offensive foul on Valley on the inbound as she was pushing off. Jill Valley's second, fourth already on Westfield State, so every foul the rest of the way will send the Beacons to the charity stripe with 7:40 to go in the quarter. Nearly a reach-in foul instead of steal. Mousset all alone for 2. 4 points today for freshman Chelsea Mousset, standing at just 5'1", a rare player shorter than the Beacons' Tajay Burston. 8-point lead. Kelsey, a bulldog to the rim. Pickpocketed. Mousset takes it away. Valley, 1v1, works to the rack. Left it short. Good defense from Matthew. Mousset the rebound, and she cans a jumper. Got a whistle after the bucket. Chelsea Mousset makes it a 6-point game. And one of the referees, John Williams, over at the scores table. The basket was good. Goes down for Mousset. It's a 6-point game. And now Ryan Nunes will come together. After all that, stays Beacon basketball, stays 57-51. UMass Boston turned it over 19 times in the first half, something that Coach Ball told us at halftime was too much. And try and limit them against the team that forces the second most turnovers in Division III. And when they do, it leads to open looks. Chantel Jordan hits a 3. 9 points, make it 12 points for Jordan. That's the Beacons' 8th three-pointer on 18 tries. Sagara for 3, left it short. Offensive board, Sapowski. Tried to find GM Petruzzi, and it popped off her fingertips. Turnover number 16 for Westfield State. UMass Boston pushes the pace, and Matthews all alone for 2. Katie Matthew has scored 10 points. She is the 4th Beacon in double figures. 11-point Beacon lead. Mousset, that's an air ball. Sapowski saves it. Kelsey takes it away. 4-on-2 for the Beaks. Jordan, open 18-footer is good. Chantel Jordan's feeling it. Timeout, Beacons up by 13. Now that timeout will stretch to a timeout on the floor. 64-51. UMass Boston has matched its largest lead of the game. You're watching on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
Come on, Jake.
As usual, she wins it. A chance in front. Her shot is in the net. Crystal laid it. Yet another goal.
Please make a gift to the Beacon Athletic Fund today. We want you on our team.
Back at the Clark on the campus of UMass Boston. Beacons will have a 15-day break after this one when they will next host Clark at the Clark, so that's not confusing at all with Clark College coming to town in 15 days. Beacons trying to go into that break above 500. They're 4-4, trying to get to 5-4 before the second half of the season, really the second and third of this season, as the Beacons will have the teeth of their conference schedule plus a number of non-conference games down the stretch of the season. UMass Boston was 16-12 last year, 6-8 in the Little East, 4-4 this season, 1-1 already in Little East play, picked fifth right in the middle of the pack of the 8-team Little East Conference. Here's Westfield State to the front court. Janaya Sanchez drives the lane. She's fouled. Drove into a double team and caught Katrina Edwards, who stays down. Now Edwards will slowly work her way back up. Looked like she got a knee from Janaya Sanchez. Foul on Raven Kelsey is her third. So a couple of Beacons in foul trouble. Ariana Rivera has 3, Tajay Burston has 3, and Raven Kelsey has 3. Here, Coach Ball, shout out, hey, Ray, you have 3, so that Raven Kelsey knows to be careful with the basketball here and avoid picking up that 4th foul, which would send her to the bench for a while. Again, any time spent on the bench is amplified as the free throw for Sanchez doesn't fall, because the pace this game is played at, you see at least 50% more possessions per minute. In tight off the offensive rebound, layup for Hester, no, and a good rebound by Katie Matthew. She's fouled in the backcourt. 5th foul of the quarter already on Westfield State, so free throws coming for the Beacons. Fouls on Kiara McCarthy, it's her 3rd. So 2 free throws for Katie Matthew, 8 for 10 this season. 1 for 2 today, now 2 for 3. 11 points for Matthew. Matthew goes 1 for 2. Again, you have so many possessions that any time spent on the bench amplifies. Beacons don't want to go without their top scorer for a couple of minutes against a team that plays like Westfield State. In tight, it's a turnover. Edwards jumped the passing lane, but then traveled. She was closely guarded by Shea Robinson, who forces the turnover. Inbound coming for Westfield State, 14-point game. Robinson, one of 17 different players to play for the Owls already today. 3 ball, no good. Clean look for Kiara McCarthy, it just didn't fall. Westfield State's only 2 for 13 from 3 today. Here's a 14th three-pointer, and that is well short. On the look for Lucy Barrett. Follow, no. How about a 4th try? That doesn't go for McCarthy. 5th effort's blocked away, and the Beacons snatch a rebound with Chantel Jordan. 3-on-1, Jordan. Extra pass, easy layup. Edwards give the assist to Katie Matthew. Beacons are just beating the Owls down the floor. They lead by their largest margin of the game at 16. Layup, no, and a good rebound. Raven Kelsey strips it away. Off the miss from McCarthy. McCarthy's poke check knocks it free, and here comes Westfield State again. Barrett toward the rim, underhanded heave. Left it short, good rebound for UMass Boston and Katrina Edwards. Here's Grace Geary. Had a good first half with 12 points. Kick into the corner. 3 for Matthew is too strong. And a good rebound, hustling after it. Give some credit to Lucy Barrett. Hester, reverse layup missed. Weak side rebound. Follow, no, but a foul. 2 free throws coming for Kiera McCarthy as that seemed to defy physics, hopping around the rim but not falling. Brings us to another media timeout. 4:33 to go in this third quarter. Beacons 67 and Westfield State 51. You're watching on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be. The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame, or less than.
So I pledge to speak up if I hear the term gay used in a derogatory way or any other homophobic terms.
If you can play in Division III.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and my teammates unconditionally accepted me as part of their family. So now I pledge to do the same for others. If you can play in Division III.
.433 to go, third quarter, 67-51 Beacons. This game is really, the saying, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. This game is both a sprint and a marathon. You have to play at that sprinter's pace with the way Westfield State plays, but because they play at a high tempo, there are so many extra possessions, you have to have the stamina of a marathon runner. They're in the challenge of taking on these Owls, but the Beacons have handled it well so far, now leading by 15 after Kiera McCarthy hits the free throw. 12 points for McCarthy to lead the way for Westfield State. Beacons, though, up 15 points, 67-52. UMass Boston has 4 different players in double figures, led by Raven Kelsey's 16 points. Both free throws go for McCarthy. 67-53, and the band plays on with full court pressure for Westfield State. Beacons turned it over 19 times in the first half. They've been better in the second half. Ariana Rivera works it forward to Chantel Jordan. Big reason why Grace Geary. She's been outstanding with the ball on the press break. Rivera, open elbow, jumper is good. Cold off the bench after sitting for most of the second quarter with 3 fouls. Ariana Rivera knocks down the jumper before Tajay Burston is tagged for her 4th foul. A reach-in foul on Burston, and she'll likely have to exit the game. Now she stays in for the time being with 4 fouls, and she'll have to be very careful this possession. Katie Matthew was late getting to the scorer's table. All the way to the rim. Jill Valley muscled it too strong. Rebound for Edwards. Burston pushed the pace for Geary. 67-55, Beacons by 12. Edwards off the dish from Geary, shoveled it short. Valley pushes into the corner. A 3 way short for Kayla Durkee. Offensive rebound, it goes. Lauren Carnavale's on the board for the first time, sophomore from Pittsfield, Massachusetts. 7 straight for Westfield State. It's a 10-point game, and it stays that way as Rivera got all the way to the tin, but missed it. Reach and foul on Geary, a long way out. Her second, the 6th on the Beacons, which means free throws coming the other end of the floor. In fact, that's Geary's 3rd. That's a frustrating foul if you're a head coach like Christina Bow. Chelsea moves set, 2 free throws coming. First one well short. Raven Kelsey back into the game along with Katie Matthew. Burston and Jordan exit. Again, 4 fouls for Tajay Burston, so likely won't see her until the 4th quarter. Free throws both missed for Mooset. Westfield State only 10 for 18 from the line today as that ball is out of bounds. Beacons turn it over for a 22nd time. 10-point UMass Boston lead. It was 17 only a couple of minutes ago. And 10-point lead is nothing against a team that plays at the tempo of Westfield State. You can see that erased very quickly. Hester's layup too strong. Rebound Geary for the Beacons. UMass Boston has been strong in the half court. That's been a big key defensively. Kelsey wants three. Left it short. Great pass forward. Hester finds the easy layup for Kiera McCarthy. 15 for McCarthy out of Ludlow, Massachusetts, known for its service station along the Mass Pike. Beacons work it forward, and Geary beat everybody down the floor on the press break for two. Great pass forward. Grace Geary's 2 points give her 14 on the day and put the Beacons ahead 69-57. Barrett drives the lane, draws the foul with 2:20 to go. Free throws coming for Lucy Barrett out of Williamstown, Massachusetts, home of Williams College. This Westfield State team made almost entirely out of players from the western part of the state. You look up and down the roster, only one player not from Massachusetts, and that's Ashley Giampetruzzi out of Manchester, New Hampshire. Barrett's free throw is good, and 4 substitutions. The 5th will come if the free throw is knocked through here for Lucy Barrett. Barrett goes 2 for 2, so she'll head out of the game on the substitution. Kirsty Segara takes her spot. Full court pressure once more for Westfield State. Referees coming together to chat again. It's been a tough game for the officials. It's played at such a fast pace, sometimes you miss things. We'll go to the scorers table now. Had to come together to chat a number of times already today. Yeah, Coach Bertini's style, not easy on opponents, not easy on the referees. They have to be in good shape as well to be able to make it up and down the floor as many times as you need to in a game like this. Possession will stick with UMass Boston here after the made free throws. Beacons get it into Geary. She's been a good distributor in the backcourt. Only 2 turnovers today for Geary. That's admirable against this group. Katie Matthew turns it over, and that's her 7th turnover this game. Westfield State the other way, down 12. Valley, drive and dish, great feed, and an easy layup for Shea Robinson. Outstanding work to set up that look. 10-point game, 71-61. Here's a 3, right wing, Matthew! Katie Matthew hits the Beacons' 9th three-pointer today, and UMass Boston's back up 13. Still on pace for more than 100 points. Musette, kick out, Valley for 3. It's good. First of the day for Jill Valley, who averages 24 a game, has scored 13 today, and the Beacons turn it over off the inbound. Ariana Rivera throws it out of bounds. 1:22 to go in the third quarter, and how about this? Point guard Tajay Burston coming back in with 4 fouls in the third quarter. She picks up 1 more. She is done for the game. She'll guard Musette here and have to be very cautious on the defensive end. Ball in, Valley muscles it through past Jordan. Jill Valley heating up, 15 for her. Back to an 8-point game, 74-66 Beacons. Jordan fouled. Touch foul on Kayla Durkee is her 2nd. Beacons in the bonus, 2 free throws coming. Chantel Jordan to the stripe, 14 points today for Jordan. 4 for 5 from the stripe in the first half. About a 70% free throw shooter on the season. And she clanks this one. 1 more line change here in this third quarter. 5 in, 5 out for Westfield State. In this group, Kiera McCarthy, who has scored 15 points already today. Better than her 10.4 point a game average. Jordan hits one of two. She's up to 15 points. Here comes Westfield State down 9. Does not take long for the Owls to take a shot. Janaea Sanchez. Round the horn. Susan Bell. Hester got it off for McCarthy for 2. Kiara McCarthy hits the jump shot. 7-point game, 75-68. And that's a travel on Rivera. Beacons turn it over. It was once a 17-point lead only about 5 minutes ago. And Westfield State's back within 7, 75-68. Beacons looking to get a stop, up 7. Closing in on the fourth quarter, and a timeout. Having a hard time getting it in. Andrea Bertini uses one of her 3 remaining timeouts, so her team will chat things over. A 30-second timeout. Gives Beacons time to regroup around Christina Baugh as well. Remember, she only has 2 timeouts left. She took 2 timeouts early in the first quarter, trying to get the Beacons sorted out. Beacons 4-4 coming in off that win against Keene State. UMass Boston also with wins this year against St. Catherine University in Minnesota. That was played at the NYU early season tip-off. Also beat Fitchburg State and Colby. Beacon losses this season to Suffolk, NYU, Western Connecticut State in overtime, and Framingham State. Reach-in foul on Chantel Jordan. Beacons in the penalty, so 2 free throws coming off that inbound play for Allison Hester. Second foul on Chantel Jordan. Now, I said a few seconds ago, 1 more line change for Westfield State, but they're loading things up to make 1 final change with 23 seconds to go. 4 in for the time being. If Hester makes the second free throw, it'll be a wholesale 5 substitutions again. Good. So that final change, Chelsea Musette takes Allison Hester's spot. 7 points today for Hester. Matthew and Burston working against the press. Grace Geary on the bench for the time being for UMass Boston. Rivera left alone for 3, and on the hesitation, she traveled, wipes away the 3-pointer. 6-point game, 28 seconds to go. Westfield State could hold for the last shot, though it would be surprising if they do. Generally work it very quickly. Musette. Valley eyes the clock with 12. Drives on Chantel Jordan. Nearly lost it. Comes out to Musette with 7. Jumper left short. Battle for the rebound, it's hauled in. Carnavale for 3, too strong. And a Beacon rebound for Burston closes out the third quarter. Well, once up by 17, Beacons head to the fourth quarter, only up by 6. Close one here on the Beacons Broadcast Network. We head to the fourth quarter, 75-69 UMass Boston against Westfield State. We have seen patented Owl basketball today, pushing the pace, forcing turnovers, but also surrendering a lot of buckets. Westfield State leads the nation in steals. They have more than 15 tonight. They lead the nation in forced turnovers. They've forced about 30 turnovers already tonight, but they're also fifth to last out of 434 teams in points allowed. They've surrendered 75 already tonight. Beacons into the front court with Ariana Rivera. Open look, Katie Matthew. She cans it. Big bucket. Beacons had gone a couple minutes without a basket, which in this game feels like an eternity. 77-69. Beacons by 8. Offensive rebound for Westfield State. A third effort. Wipe it off. A foul on the floor after Kersey Segarra had grabbed the rebound. If that's on Raven Kelsey, it would be her 4th. It's on Ariana Rivera, and it's her 4th. So Rivera has 4 fouls. Tajay Burston has 4 fouls. Grace Geary and Raven Kelsey each have 3 fouls for the Beacons. Jill Valley jumper off the back of the rim. Follows her miss. Stick back short, and Raven Kelsey rips away a rebound. It's tied up. Great hustle from Valley, and the jump ball gives it back to Westfield State in an 8-point game. Traveling on Valley, caught the inbound pass and moved the pivot foot. Westfield State has struggled with turnovers today as well. They average about 19 a game. They're already over 20. But the Beacons give it right back. Burston threw it wide of Matthew. Beacon turnover gives possession back to Westfield State as Katie Matthew looks to fire up her group. Junior, she's a leader in this team, and she clapped both hands together in the paint, trying to encourage the team, keep them calm, up 8. Entry pass, Valley, she sticks it home for 2. Hasn't been easy today for Jill Valley, but she's still scored 17 points. And it's turned over. Jordan defended well by Lauren Carnavale, and she lost it out of bounds into the Beacon bench. So that shift for Westfield State went well. They're back within 6, and they sub 5 new players into the game. Westfield State has played 17 players today. Reach-in foul goes against the Beacons. It's on Katrina Edwards. That's her 3rd foul. 2nd foul in the Beacons already in this 4th quarter. This is definitely not a Van Gogh, the way Westfield State plays. They want to muddy it up, but it's been effective for them. Layup off the back of the rim, an offensive rebound. So another possession for the Owls. Long 3 for Barrett, doesn't go. Good rebound, falling to the floor. Katie Matthew won it for the Beacons. They push. Edwards finishes. 6 points for Katrina Edwards. Good assist by Katie Matthew as the Beacons pushed it off the defensive rebound. 8-point Beacon lead. Into the corner, McCarthy for 3 off the heel. Tajay Burston finds another rebound for the Beacons. Accelerates it 4-on-4. Laid off, Matthew wants 3, too strong. Long rebound tracked down by Hester, and here comes Westfield State. Hester all the way to the rack, missed it. Offensive rebound, no, but a foul. McCarthy's heading to the line again. This one goes on Katie Matthew. It's her 3rd foul. So she is the 5th Beacon with at least 3 fouls. Already the 3rd foul on UMass Boston in the opening minute 55 seconds of the 4th quarter. Free throw, rock solid that time for McCarthy, who has scored 18 points today. Here comes another. Short. Rebound ripped away by Katie Matthew for UMass Boston. Get it forward, Raven Kelsey overshot her. Grace Geary turns it over with that overhead pass. Wow, a rare one-on-one substitution this time as McCarthy heads out and Segarra in for Westfield State. But again, that stems back from a missed free throw when it was supposed to be a 5-for-5 substitution. 7-point game. Beacons led by as much as 17 early on in this half. Right now that lead has shrunk to 7. Valley throws it over her shoulder. No. Offensive rebound. It doesn't fall for Sapowski. Beacons take it away with Tajay Burston. Pushing as she weaves her way through. Rivera traveled. It's another Beacon turnover. UMass Boston assistant coach Andrea Suffredini puts her hands on her head. Reach in, foul goes against UMass Boston. If that's on Rivera, it is her 5th. It is on Rivera, it is her 5th foul. She is fouled out. And it may not be the last Beacon to foul out today. Fouls out with 4 points. Tajay Burston has 4 fouls. Grace Geary, Raven Kelsey, and Katie Matthew all have 3 fouls with 7.5 minutes to go. And oh, by the way, the next foul and every foul the rest of the way will send Westfield State to the free throw line to end this one. In the corner, Mousset, kick out, Valley for 3. Halfway down and out. Kelsey, the physical rebound for the Beacons. Beacons 3-on-1. Jordan rolls off the rim. Rebounding foul on Westfield State. Sapowski called for hooking against Katrina Edwards. Sapowski's first foul. And another 5-in, 5-out substitution for Westfield State. Beacons get it in tight. Jordan, no. On the offensive rebound, a new possession for UMass Boston, a 7-point lead. Right where they started this quarter. Burston stripped, a foul called on Burston as she went back for the basketball, and she has fouled out. So in pretty quick succession, Tajay Burston and Ariana Rivera foul out of the game. Burston fouls out with 5 points. Grace Geary re-enters. It's already the 5th foul on the Beacons, so 2 free throws. Coming for Carrie Payton, junior from Russell, Massachusetts. She is 12 for 20 from the stripe this season. She has not scored today. Knocks down the first free throw. So it's a 6-point game. And this in the fourth quarter is where you see the Westfield State tempo and depth really show itself. Offensive rebound, Payton, she scores, plus a foul. Westfield State within 4, and the foul on Raven Kelsey is her 4th. So she's in danger of fouling out. Again, Westfield State's played 17 players, so they could absorb foul trouble. Beacons have only played 9 players. They're down to 7 with 2 foul outs, and Kelsey in danger of fouling out as well. Tough rebound for Matthew. Kelsey stays in the game with the 4 fouls. 10-second violation called against the Beacons. They thought they'd gotten it over as you look at the shot clock at 20 with the Beacons in the front court. Oh, Katie Matthews livid, pointing to the shot clock, pointing to where she was. This is a situation where some of the Beacon leaders maybe need to try and calm everybody down. They've seen a 17-point lead evaporate to 4. All the momentum with Westfield State. Penetration, McCarthy on the kickout. Into the corner, a 3 for Sanchez, falls off the rim. Good rebound, Geary, and she is fouled. Good 90 feet from the hoop. Now, if you're a fan of fouling and foul shots, this has been the game for you. Only the 2nd foul this quarter on Westfield State, but it's the 4th on Carrie Patterson. Fresh 5 enter for Westfield State within 4. The Beacons look to inbound with a fresh shot clock. Jordan sets up Geary. Grace Geary has scored 14 today. Great feed for Edwards. Too strong. She overpowered it inside. Rebound for Mousset. Push forward Westfield State. Sagara driving dish. Topowski lost it. Beacons push it again. Geary spins around Mousset. Almost went over and back, but spins to the front court. Now Geary sets up Jordan. Jumper too strong. Didn't even catch the rim. Offensive rebound Edwards. Beacons scrumming forward. It's a jump ball. And possession arrow keeps it with UMass Boston. 79-75. Beacons by 4. At one point they led 67-51. So since then, it's a 24-12 run for Westfield State. I'm telling you, the referees deserve bonus pay for a game like this. You call almost twice as many possessions. You got players running all over the place. It's tough to stay on top of the game. Bounce for Geary. Throws it up. Edwards, catch, and foul. Foul on Kersey Sagara. It's her third. 2 free throws for Katrina Edwards, a 59% free throw shooter. First free throw, straight through. 7 points today for Edwards. Little East All-Academic team member the last couple of seasons. Edwards, senior from Springfield, missed the second. Rebound off Quinones. And a foul again. Quinones earns the foul. It's the 4th on Westfield State. It's in the act of shooting, so 2 free throws coming for freshman Alicia Quinones. And the free throw rattles out. Beacons have been stuck between 79 and 80 points for a while here. Not coming as easily as they did in the first half, and you have to think some of that is probably fatigue against the deeper Owls. 0 for 2, trip for Quinones. Here comes Westfield State. It's picked off. Well read by Geary. Kelsey to the front court. And the clock seems like an issue again. It's a tough break for the Beacons. They were pushing the pace, would have had an advanced rush, probably a 4-on-2 on the fast break. Referees reset the shot clock to 26 seconds. That was the issue. The shot clock hadn't reset off the turnover. Hey, tough game for the scoreboard and shot clock operators as well today. Everybody deserves a nice nap after this one. 80-75, Geary straight away. Kelsey calling for the ball, wants 3, give her 3! Huge shot for Raven Kelsey. Beacons back up 8. Kelsey has scored 19 points. On the backdoor cut, a foul. Devastating pass from up top. Well done. Lucy Barrett found Kiara McCarthy, and McCarthy will shoot free throws. Foul on Alicia Quinones, one of the few Beacons with fouls left to give. That's only her first. Kiara McCarthy has scored 18 points today. And stuck on 18 with the Beacons up 8. 5:06 to play. Second free throw's good. 19 for McCarthy. Good trap in the backcourt, but a foul. Grace Geary bailed out a bit because she was in the danger zone there, stuck between the sideline and 2 Owls. It's the 5th foul against Westfield State, so free throws coming for Geary. Foul on Carrie Payton is her 5th, so Payton has fouled out of the game. And that'll lead to a rare 1-for-1 substitution. Shea Robinson comes back in. First free throw for Geary, no good, and that's a rare miss for her from the stripe. Sitting on 14 points, but she scored 12 in the first half, only 2 here in the second. Missed a couple of games in a row, so getting back into game shape, and not easy against a team that's going to run the stuffing out of your legs like this Westfield State team. Beacons back up 8, drive to the rack, and the layup falls. Lucy Barrett has scored 9 points today. Nearly a steal off the inbound, and it brings us to a timeout on the floor. 4:55 to go in the fourth quarter. Come back for the conclusion. Beacons lead by 6 on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
The 5-campus UMass system is the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, and that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
.455 to play at the Clark Athletic Center. UMass Boston 84, Westfield State 78. Sounds like a high-scoring game, but pretty close to on par for the Owls this season. They average 87 points a game. They give up 83 points a game. Beacons trying to score 100 for the first time in a long time. Highest output this season for UMass Boston was last time out, 88 points against Keene State, but that came in double overtime. Should easily smash that in regulation here. UMass Boston breaks the pressure. Edwards all the way to the tin. She's fouled. Janaea Sanchez picks up her first foul. 2 more free throws coming for senior Katrina Edwards out of Springfield Central High School, where she was second team All-League. Edwards missed the first. Here comes the second free throw. Got it. 9 points for Katrina Edwards. Beacons back up 7. Here's Shania Sanchez. Drives the lane. It's an offensive foul. Katrina Edwards draws the charge, and the Beacons get it back. So Westfield State will set up its pressure as they have the entirety of this game. Even off misses and turnovers, they pressure. Beacons go for the long ball up top to Geary, and she runs it down. Oh, good crossover. Geary gets in and finishes. That was nasty from the junior out of Falmouth. 9-point lead for UMass Boston. Geary has scored 17. Barrett, a 3, clanked it. Offensive rebound, Sanchez, new possession for Westfield State. Jumper off the back of the rim, didn't go down for Hester. Scramble for the loose ball, a foul. Which way is it going? It's going against Westfield State. Free throws coming for UMass Boston. Foul on Janiyah Sanchez is her second. Free throws again for UMass Boston in the bonus. Katrina Edwards, who is 2 for 4 so far today from the free throw line, back at it. Her first is good. 10 points now for Edwards. She is the 5th Beacon into double figures. UMass Boston has already lost 2 players, Tajay Burston and Ariana Rivera, to fouling out of this game. This free throw too strong. Beacon offensive rebound nearly thrown away, and it's Valley to the offensive end. By the way, Beacon's 12 points away from 100. The last time they scored 100 was in 1983 against Endicott College. Valley, a 3, doesn't go, and Raven Kelsey grabs the rebound. So it has been 33 years for UMass Boston 12 points away from making a little history. Geary rejected. Good rebound, Valley. Jill Valley pushes. Slinging around, open look, Gian Petruzzi, well short. Good rebound, Katrina Edwards. She's double teamed and jump ball goes back to Westfield State. Jill Valley is tenacious on the offensive glass, earning those tie-ups. 88-78. Been a long and windy road to get here, but the Beacons lead by 10. Looking to go to 5 and 4. Valley corner three, it's good. It's now a 7-point game. Jill Valley has scored 20 points. Not a lot of quit in this Westfield State club. They were down 17 in the third quarter. They've been as close as 4 in this fourth quarter. Edwards crossover. Kelsey for 3, left it short. Matthew the offensive rebound, and Geary will recycle. Beacons maybe will try to shorten this game. 88-81, 3 minutes to go. Outside Chantel Jordan, corner three, no! Another offensive rebound. Was Edwards that time. Geary double teamed with a spin move. Sets up Kelsey for a 3. Left it short. 3 misses that trip for the Beacons. Could have put them up 10. 4-on-1 for Westfield State, and this is easy for Segura, who finishes. 5-point game. Even late, Westfield State getting ready to make another line change. 5 in, 5 out. Geary pressured. And Christina Ball gets the timeout call. So UMass Boston takes timeout. Beacons will talk things over, up by 5. Led by 17 in the second quarter. Final game before the break. Beacons trying to head in with some positive momentum. They'll play Clark next on December 30th. That'll be the final game for the Beacons in 2016. Then they play non-conference against Brandeis and Bridgewater State before getting things going against Rhode Island College in conference play on January 7th. All conference games the rest of the way for UMass Boston after that one. 5 different scores in double figures for UMass Boston, led by Raven Kelsey's 19 points. Westfield State led by 19 points from Kiara McCarthy and 20 from Jill Valley. Owls have played 17 different players already today. (88-83) lead for the Beacons. There's a steal off the inbound. Hester, coast to coast, she scores. 3-point game. 9 points for Allison Hester today off the bench. So 1 possession game, about 2 minutes to go. Katrina Edwards answers with a strong finish. 12 points for Edwards, Beacons by 5. 90-85. McCarthy to the rim. Over the 20-point barrier. Kiara McCarthy has scored 21 points. Beacons lead by 3 again. 100 seconds to play, and that is a lifetime for the number of possessions that Westfield State can create. Oh, good feed. Kelsey down to Edwards for 2. Give the assist to Raven Kelsey. Katrina Edwards has scored 9 points in the fourth quarter, 14 overall. In the other way, layup falls off the rim. Good look for Carnivale. Offensive follow doesn't go. And there's Chantel Jordan with the Beacon rebound. Out of the field, 2-on-0. Edwards finishes. Katrina Edwards with 16 points. She has been outstanding in the fourth quarter. Beacons lead by 7 all of a sudden with a minute to go. Much needed 3, bangs in for Allison Hester. She has scored 12. Back to a 4-point game. Timeout Westfield State. 59 seconds to go. Now Westfield State will talk things over, gives the Beacons time to figure things out as well. It's been a doozy. Expected it would be pretty crazy coming in, and it has been. Beacons have scored 94 points, but turned it over more than 30 times. Westfield State has scored 90 points, but they're still losing, coming off a game where they lost when they scored 103 points. 2 Beacons have fouled out. Beacons have 5 players in double figures, 5 players with at least 15 points. Now, you know those Tom Amansky instructional videos you saw for baseball back in the day that produced back-to-back-to-back-to-back AAU national champions? If he was making basketball instructional videos, probably wouldn't show this game. Again, not the prettiest game, but these are 2 teams that are scrapping, and the style of play for Westfield State is to do this. It's to muddy up the game. Credit them for playing the game to their style, and you got to credit UMass Boston for being able to counter it and maintain a 4-point lead, even though they're playing a game that's a bit out of their comfort zone. Another home run ball for Geary. She's behind the defense. It's batted away. Good hustle from Jill Valley, coming back like a defensive back to bat it out of bounds. Beacons do break the pressure, though. Full 30 seconds on the shot clock. Be interesting to see whether Westfield State plays out the shot clock here or if they look to foul. Beacons struggle to get it in. It's a 5-second call. You don't need to do that math now. Ball goes back to Westfield State off another Beacon turnover. Drive from McCarthy all the way to the tin. She draws the foul. Goes on Katrina Edwards. That's her 4th. Kiara McCarthy, the leading scorer with 21 points today, can shoot this to a 2-point game if she knocks them both down. If she makes it a 1-score game, there's no reason for Westfield State to foul. They can play it out. First free throw's good. It is a 1-score game. Lauren Carnevale back into the game. And the second free throw doesn't go. Kelsey, a rebound for the Beacons. She's double teamed and dribbles through it. Good work from Kelsey. Beacons hit the brakes, up 3. They can run it down to about 20 seconds to go, but they turn it over. Good steal from Valley. Into the front court. Valley driving to the rim, tried to draw a foul, didn't get the call. Offensive rebound, no for Sapowski. Spins in, no again. Sapowski follows her miss. It's tied up, and the possession arrow gives it to the Beacons. 25 seconds to go. Shot clock is off. Time for Westfield State to look for a steal, but then they'll be forced to foul. Beacons looking to hold on, up 3. UMass Boston gets it into Raven Kelsey. Triple team coming toward Matthew. She's fouled. Reach in on Carnevale. Beacons in the double bonus. And Katie Matthew, a pretty good free throw shooter, entered the season at 75%, though just 2 for 4 today. Heads to the line looking to shoot this one to a 2-score game. And if there's ever a team built to come back in the final minute, it is this Westfield State team. They play with that strategy really all game long, pushing the pace, pressuring, getting quick shots. Matthew misses the free throw, so it's still a 1-possession game. Second free throw rattles out, 1-score game, and a timeout for Westfield State. With the timeout rules, they'll be able to advance the ball to the front court here. New rule last year in women's collegiate basketball, along with the move to quarters. Now this has been a real grind for the Beacons. Good thing they have 2 weeks off after this one, because game that's lasted 2 hours and 5 minutes. Beacons have been forced to push the pace, run and run. And so far they've survived. All right, 94-91. Westfield State down 3, 21 seconds to go. Valley for the tie. No good. Rebound off of the Beacons. Katrina Edwards, another chance. Don't need the 3 yet if you're Westfield State, just need a quick bucket. Allison Hester calling out a play. Lauren Carnevale will substitute in quickly, and she takes the spot of Lucy Barrett. Hester looking to get it in, finds Valley, open for 3 for the tie. No, too strong. Offensive rebound goes to McCarthy. Hester again with 9. She looks to tie it, way short. Kelsey the rebound, and she can shoot the Beacons to 5 and 4 if she can hit a free throw here. 3 looks at a tie there for Westfield State. Couldn't get any of them to go. Now, if you're Coach Bertini, you had 2 open looks for your top scorer, over 1,000 points in her career, Jill Valley, that could have tied the game. You'll take that every time. Kelsey at the stripe. It's still a 3-point game. 19 today for Kelsey, who entered a really strong 83% free throw shooter. Her second goes. 4-point game. Beacons up 2 scores. Now they just need to avoid fouling. Pushing the pace, Valley throws it up, almost banged it in, and that does it. Wasn't easy, but the Beacons hang on to win 95-91. UMass Boston heads into the break at 5 and 4 with a winning record. Now stick with us here at the end of the 4th quarter, because coming up we'll have a quick conversation with Beacon coach Christina Ball. That's all coming up next on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
My name is Albert Daly. I'm from Hazel Park, New York. I'm a forward on the UMass Boston men's hockey team, and my current major is exercise and health sciences. Being a member of the men's hockey team is a tremendous honor, just because being able to play collegiate sport while pursuing my dreams and becoming a physical therapist and studying what I'd like to in school means a lot. And my favorite memory as a member of the men's hockey team would probably be a big goal that I scored last year in the NCAA quarterfinals. CSU's quarterfinals against the University of New England.
What a turn and momentum!
Just because it's a big boost for both myself and my team moving forward.
Perfect shot right there, over the shoulder, off the goaltender's throat.
Closing Fenway was our outdoor game at Fenway Park. It was a tremendous experience, both for me and the guys on the team, and the program as a whole. Well, we got to see the Red Sox locker room, which was an awesome experience. And just being at Fenway Park and go to school in Boston is second to none, really. That's what we look for. When you're trying to experience collegiate athletics, and it's really cool thing to be part of. Being a student athlete at UMass Boston is a tremendous honor, just because it gives you a chance to really focus on your studies in a great academic environment while pursuing what you want athletically. So it's a pretty powerful thing.
'95-91 win for UMass Boston. Coach, we talked about it at halftime. Obviously, this is a really unique opponent. They force you to play a lot differently than you do in most games. But even with all that, under pressure for 40 minutes, you find a way to get the win. What are your thoughts afterwards?
Man, they're going to sleep good tonight. Those are my thoughts after that. We've been on the road for like 6 games now, so tonight was about showing we can handle the pressure. It wasn't great, but we found a way to get it done today.
You had 5 different players in double figures, 5 different players with at least 15 points. Wow. It's got to be the balance you're looking for all season long.
Absolutely, man. If we can do that every night, we're going to be pretty tough to beat in the conference. And you know, that's a good team, and you know, they won their league last year. So I'm just really excited for our girls to go into the break with a little momentum.
You mentioned they're going to sleep well tonight. They get a chance to rest now for almost 2 weeks and don't play again until December 30th. You head into the break 5-4 with momentum off a conference win and then this win. Where's the team's attitude, and what's your message to the team heading into winter break?
To not let up. You know, the break, it can either help you or hurt you. You know, we need the rest, but we can't take too much rest. So hopefully, you know, we're committed to staying in shape, because when we get back, that's when it really matters.
All right, Coach, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Beacons win it 95-91. Let's check the highlights from a crazy, frenetic back-and-forth battle. Beacons get the rebound to Raven Kelsey. 12 points in the first half and a three-pointer here. Nearly a reach-in foul instead of steal. Moose set all alone for two. 4 points today for freshman. Works it forward to Chantel Jordan. Big reason why Grace Geary. She's been outstanding with the ball on the press break. Rivera, open elbow jumper is good. Cole, 15 for McCarthy out of Ludlow, Massachusetts, known for its service station along the Mass Pike. Beacons work it forward, and Geary beat everybody. Moose set, kick out, Valley for three. It's good. First of the day for Jill Valley. Kelsey calling for the ball, wants three. Give her three. Huge. Looking to go to 5-4. Valley corner three. It's good. It's now a 7-point game. Jill Valley. Beacons hang on to win 95-91. It was a wild and crazy game as you take a look at the overall stats. You don't often turn the ball over 39 times and win a game, but against Westfield State, sometimes that's their the way they play, and you can get the turnovers but still get easy shots. Big key for the Beacons, 46% from the field, 40% from three, and 60 overall rebounds for UMass Boston. That tells you, look at that, there were 119 missed shots in this game as the teams combined for 119 rebounds. Look at team leaders. UMass Boston was very balanced. They had 5 different players with at least 15 points, but they were led by Raven Kelsey for another game. 19 points for Kelsey, 16 rebounds as well. She was a warrior down low. 3 different Beacons with 6 assists. The Grace Geary was a key part of facilitating the Beacons to break the pressure. On the other side, Kiara McCarthy, 22 points to lead the way for Westfield State. I'd like to thank our production team today, a great crew working hard during finals week here at UMass Boston. Of course, our producer, Seth Orensky, Elizabeth Clavin, and Rachel Maslak. The directors, Instant Replay, was Gigi Braga. Jason Harris, the UMass Boston men's basketball coach, also our first half color commentator. Camera operator Steve Consiglio, Alyssa Flegel, and Allison Hickey. I'm Bill Spalding saying so long from the Clark Athletic Center after UMass Boston moves to 5-4 with a 95-91 win over Westfield State. That'll do it for the fall semester, but we'll be back December 30th. UMass Boston Women's Basketball back in action. They take on Clark December 30th, a 5:30 p.m. start. You can find it on the Beacons Broadcast Network. For our entire crew, Bill Spalding wishing you happy holidays, and if we don't catch you until 2017, a happy new year from the UMass Boston Beacons.